All right, good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about transpiration. So you've already hopefully completed your assignment about the water cycle and understand that plants are a really important part of keeping our water within our cyclical system, meaning from the earth to the atmosphere and back into the earth, and keeping our water clean. They're also a really important part of cooling down our planet through this process. And so today we're going to learn about transpiration. And transpiration is the process of water movement through a plant and its evaporation from aerial parts such as the leaves, stems, and flowers. Most transpiration occurs through the leaves, and you can kind of think of transpiration as the equivalent of human perspiration. It's sort of similar to us sweating. So we're going to move on to the next slide. So in what ways does transpiration benefit the plant? It maintains homeostasis, so that helps the plant regulate temperature. For us, our bodies keep us at a warm temperature, whereas transpiration for plants usually is cooling off the plant. The transpiration also moves food and nutrients from the root to the top of the plant and back again. So when we see that movement of liquids through the plant, in through the xylem and then to photosynthesis and then back through the plant, through the phloem, that happens because of transpiration. And then lastly, it causes the plant to take in water. Interestingly enough, the water that's taken in from the soil, only about 5% of that is going to stay within the plant. But as we know, water is really, really important for plants. It helps them stay rigid in their structure, and it's needed for things like photosynthesis and other processes that occur in the plant. Oh, my slide is stuck. Please go next. Okay, so on this next slide, you can actually see that flow of water and nutritious materials through the plant. So we start here at the roots. Our H2O and minerals are taken in by the xylem. You can see it coming up to the leaves. Some of that transpires out of the plant. Some of that is used for photosynthesis, so we can see the carbon dioxide going in, light going in, sugar is made, oxygen is released, and then that sugar travels back through the plant. So how does the water move through the plant? How does that happen? Well, basically a series of steps happen. So there's a little tiny opening in the leaf called a stomata, and this is sort of like a pore. This is where gas exchange occurs. And basically once that stomata opens, water movement in the plant is pulled up by the forces of cohesion and adhesion. Once that stomata is open and the water starts doing its thing, the water transpires out of the stomata. Essentially, it's evaporating out into the atmosphere. There's a misconception that water is pushed up by the roots, but that's not the case. It's actually pulled up from the top of the plant through transpiration. And what I'm going to have you do now is take a moment and pause this video, and then you're going to watch the video on cohesion and adhesion here. And you're also going to watch the video on transpiration. I've linked them to the Google post, and I've also linked this PowerPoint, not as a video, just as a PowerPoint to the post, so you can access those there. So go ahead and pause and take a watch and check out those videos. Okay, this is just an example of stomata. So here is an open stomata and here's a closed stomata. Stomata open as a response to signals in the environment. So for example, light will come and the light will signal the stomata to open up, and basically they have these little guard cells on the edges, and those guard cells either fill with water to open and become rigid and open up, or the guard cells empty of water and then the stomata closes because the guard cells push it closed. So plants don't all transpire at the same rate, just like humans sweat at different amounts for a lot of different reasons, but one of the main reasons is because of something called driving force. And driving force is the difference in water potential between the soil and the atmosphere surrounding the plant. So basically that's important because water moves towards areas where there's less water. So for example, if the air surrounding the plant is really dry, that's a higher driving force, and there's going to be a faster rate of transpiration. So on a warm, hot, dry day, the plant is going to transpire more and more quickly than on a day with really a lot of humidity in the air. So if the air is humid, there's going to be a lower driving force and a much slower transpiration rate. So how do environmental factors affect transpiration? Well, because of that driving force, transpiration increases with higher temperatures and higher wind speeds. So that windiness will pull more moisture out of the plant and cause more water to evaporate from the plant into the air. Higher temperatures are going to cause that plant to evaporate, but transpiration decreases with higher relative humidity. So remember, our relative humidity is really talking about the moisture content in the air. So at a certain temperature, how much moisture content is in the air. And if it's a really high moisture content, the plant is going to stop transpiring. Even if it's really hot out, but if it's really hot and there's 90% humidity, there's not room in the air for more water vapor to go into the air. And so again, transpiration is essentially water evaporation from within the plant to the atmosphere outside. And if there's not any room for more water vapor in the air surrounding the plant is not going to be able to transpire. So that brings us to guttation. So guttation is the secretion of droplets of water from the pores of the plant. And this is what happens when the conditions aren't right for transpiration to occur and there's too much water inside of the plant. A lot of people think that guttation is dew, but it's not the same thing, because dew is water that's condensed from the atmosphere onto the plant surface rather than water that's come from the plant and is now on the plant surface because it's been forced out of the plant. There's a guttation video here that I'd like you to pause this video and take a look at now. It gives a little bit more information. It is going to cut off because we're not members of this Academy online learning thing, but that's okay. The important part is going to be shown in this video. So go ahead and pause this and take a look at your guttation video. This is also linked to the Google Classroom post. And that's it for transpiration today. So if you have any questions, make sure you put them in your worksheet and answer those questions that I've posted for you as well. I hope you're all safe and happy and healthy, and I miss you all. Have a great Thursday.